the recording button, sorry. Let's see whether I'm recording that. Okay, so let's get going. Thank you very much, guys, for joining me today. Today is the 16th of March, 2017. Okay, and welcome to today's live geometric market outlook and trade ideas. And we shall then start right away. So here we go. I'll share with you a couple of pairs at this moment of time. But just before that, a bit of disclaimer. Very quickly, risk warning. Forex and CFDs are leveraged products and involve a high level of risk and can result in the loss of all your invested capital. Therefore, Forex and CFDs may not be suitable for all investors. You should not risk more than you are prepared to lose. So before deciding to trade, please ensure you understand the risk involved and take into account your level of experience. Seek independent advice if necessary. There we go. That's your risk warning there, guys. Okay, and this is the platform. I mean, the educational platform or trading platform is brought to you by BlackboardTrader.com, Blackboard Global, under the umbrella of Blackboard Global, and in collaboration with FX Geometry. Okay, this is where I conduct my mentorship program through the platform organized and provided by Blackboard Global. Okay, so here we go. We have got a couple of interesting ones. Now here, because it's live market, it's always great to look into what's happening, what's cooking now, what are the traders looking at, and how much action we're looking at, and how much, how close we are to the reversal. We're looking at GBP USD, for example. There were a couple of questions regarding the GBP USD. I know we've got questions on Euro GBP as well, and GBP related pair, including GBP CHF. Now we're looking at GBP USD on the 1 hour chart. Okay, so here I've got a Z-like pattern, which basically means that you've got A right here, then you've got B, C. So B to C has actually gone quite a lot, and I've sort of forecasted that the reversal is about to happen. So because it's really close to the 2380s area. Now we are at the 2360s already. It's actually gone down. It's actually stopped. Price stopped at about stop going up basically at 2370s or 2371, which is really close to the 2380s area. So the reason why I've drawn such a pattern is because we have got a couple of criterias, and it wouldn't make much sense to me based on this pattern if at all the reversal it's going to be sooner. So it's just right that it's closer to this area here at 2389. The reason for that is this. I use a lot of Fibonacci on most of the patterns, geometric and the harmonic patterns as well. So here, if at all you're pulling from A to B, let's say, yeah, and you see that you've got the 161 and you've got a 200 right there. Okay, so if I pull, for example, if I choose the reversal at 161.8 instead of this area here, or closer to this area here, then it wouldn't meet my other criteria. Okay, and I'll tell you what I mean. Now here, for example, usually a Z-like pattern, from A to B and then B to C, and then it reverses from there. It usually comes down to about 50%. Okay, now this one here, first criteria to predict how far it could fall to would be the length of AB that equals to the CD length. So I got that one right there. Okay, so if I pull my Fibonacci now from B right up to C, you can see that the first line that I've drawn, AB equals CD, just matches up exactly on the dot of the 50% as well. So this is a very good criteria to know that it's probably best to find this level here or very close to the 2380s area for the reversal to happen. So the reversal is happening right now, and it actually started to happen in the 2370 area, which is about 10 pips below the 80s area. So that's a good sign. So this is basically showing us a bit of a trade idea of GBP USD, whereby it may or have the probability to come downwards, but the downward move from C to D would most probably be in this kind of shape, yeah. ABCD type shape. So there may be a strong fall down and then a correction, and then the direction would be the D. So this is the D area. And once it reaches a D zone or the D area, then you've got a potential of it moving upwards. So this is actually a bullish Z-like pattern. So it's up, now it's on the way down. And it's on the way down basically from C, okay, from C down to the D. So this is what we're trading, the downward move GBP USD on a 1 hour chart from C to D, and then you most probably will look into a reversal at this area here once it reaches D. But the falling down of prices, the fall of prices of GBP USD, especially on the 1 hour chart here from C to D, like I've mentioned, it'll come down in the shape of A, B, C, D. Okay, so you'll find a correction as well. Okay, eventually. So it'll come down, find a correction, and then come back down again. All right, so this is most probable of what would happen following the Z-like pattern. So let's erase that and let's get back to basics where we look into the strength of trend as well. So here from the summary of the market analysis today, we find that we've got a couple of strengthening or strong pairs versus not pairs but currencies versus weakest one or weak one. So I'll just line up the three strongest one for today. The three strongest one for today that we could still see prices appreciating and the trend is sort of bullish would be CHF, USD, and the euro. Okay, so it's categorized under the three levels. So the first one will be CHF, strongest, second strongest USD, and third strongest euro. Okay, and then the weakest one, first weakest one or the weakest one of the three is the AUD. Okay, and then followed by the GBP and then the JPY. So take this into consideration, write it down, and know that as of today, or for today, not as of today, but for today so far, we're looking at strength for CHF, USD, and euro, and we've got weak sort of sentiment or bearish type sentiment based on the euro, on the AUD, GBP, and JPY. Okay, so this is quite good for you to understand that in terms of trend. And then when we talk about the top 10, for example, top 10 movers or top 10 currencies or pairs that are moved by investors or traders, major traders, you've got top 10, and I see that you've got loads and loads of involvement with the New Zealand dollar. So there may be a big reason for that. So you need to also look at what may happen tomorrow in terms of the economic calendar or any economic political event that might move the market that may impact the New Zealand dollar as well. So there are some interest trading the New Zealand dollar. So one of the top 10 that has got quite a large sort of movement and pushed, I would say 40 to 50+% of the market revolving, that would be the NZD USD to the downside. So there's a lot of bearishness of NZD USD and a lot of interest of selling the NZD versus the USD. As you know, yesterday we had loads of movement of NZD USD, especially with the dollar, and the dollar's fall has increased the what do you call NZD to the upside. So NZD USD went up quite a lot yesterday, and now it's suddenly we've got investors selling it quite a lot as well, equally as much as they have bought yesterday. So this tells us a lot that the momentum now is to the downside. So you've got a lot of interest to sell the NZD versus the USD. That means people are coming back to buying the dollar versus the NZD. So this is the top 10 side of things. We're also looking at a lot of appreciative movement, I would say bullishness of the CHF. So you want to look into any news revolving the Swiss bank and whether they've got some hints, positive hints about rising rates or anything that's got to do with the positivity, whether it is from the rate side of it or economic side of it or political or whatever that would give that impact to the positive side for the CHF as well. Okay, so let's get to it now. I've got the first trade idea for you, GBP USD. That's what's going on at this moment of time. Now, if you're looking at the price as of now, 23.53, it is too close to the 23.50. So if you're looking at selling would actually be better under the 2350 at least by 10 pips. So you're looking at roughly 2340 as your entry area, 1.2340 and below to be your entry area. And if you're actually looking into trading and getting the pips, let's say 40 pips, 50 pips or so, that would be a reasonable trading by stage if you are looking at taking profit in that manner. If not, you are looking at trading based on this pattern, strictly on the pattern. You're looking at a potential fall to the 2247 area. Now 2247 is too close to the 50, so we want it to reach before reaching the 50 psychological level. So your take profit area would ideally be in the area above the 2250 area. Let's say, for example, 2260 or so. So that's basically it. So you've got that two areas right there. Okay, now here, usually in this case, because it's a Z-like pattern, now in terms of stop losses, usually I take that as equal because it's a Z-like pattern. If it's the ABCD pattern, a little bit different on how I will take the stop loss. I'll use the 67% of the A to B as my stop loss if it is ABCD pattern. Now here's a Z-like pattern. I'll just use a very simple strategy for stop loss, whereby I equal the number of pips in profit to the number of pips to the stop loss. So if my potential entry area, let's say 2340 right down to 2260, let's say 100 plus pips or so, then you are looking into 100 plus pips also for the entry to the stop loss level. So that's how I see it. Okay, so that's GBP USD, guys. Okay, so let's look into the first one here, Euro USD. Now, Euro USD, as I've mentioned earlier on, Euro as the currency itself overall is on the upside. It's still showing bullishness, okay, because it's one of the top three that is showing bullishness, apart from CHF and the USD. Okay, so here, for example, we could see many ABCD type pattern here, but the most recent one here, we have got the Euro USD right here, for example. Okay, now it has actually met. Now, if you take that as A to B and then B to C, I'll just draw that first and then we'll explain later on. Okay, so we've got it like that, and we'll take the AB equals CD right there. Okay, now you've got it like that. So let's say that's the potential. Okay, but very important, this is what we're looking at, ABCD potential. Okay, a move upwards for the Euro USD, but this is based on the 4-hour chart. And if we go onto the 1-hour chart, let's say you want to minimize that a little bit, and you could see that that could potentially happen as well in terms of trend. Why? Because you've got the candles above all three lines. As you can see, it's showing a lot of bullishness. It has been pushed up quite a lot. It has gone above the B point right there as well, and it's got quite a number of hints in terms of candles as well. As you can see, a lot of bullishness. Bullish candles are sort of dominating this whole area right here as well. So that is giving us what do you call that, a potential to the upside. We're looking at the 1-hour chart at this moment of time for Euro USD. We look at the price action itself. Price is at 1.0727. okay, it is about 7 pips or so above the 20 side number, which is a good sign. That is actually showing a pickup of price because it's above the 20 psychological level. But let us wait a little bit more to look into prices going above the 0730 area, so that we can then look into more bullishness to be expected, so we can then look into a potential take profit zone close to the 0780 area, but do not take it at 0780. If you're looking into take profit, 0770 at least, because that would be 10 pips before reaching the 0780 area. Okay, now this is what I would like to point out to you. When you are looking into a pair, Euro USD now, and you're looking at a lot of movement going up, you need to ask yourself, when could it go down? And that question usually could be answered by looking to the left, looking at where resistance has happened. You can always go one time frame up from whatever time frame that you're looking at. Let's say I've looked at 1 hour. I go one time frame up to look into support resistance level. Okay, now here, as you can see, you've got prices here. Yeah, prices here, and this is where prices are at the moment, 1.0728. 28 or 29 still is quite close to the 20 side number. When you look left, you need to ask yourself, has there ever been any other areas that would pose as a potential resistant area? Now, the answer to that is yes. You've got one price falling there, very close to the price. Now you've got price falling there. Let's draw a support resistance zone based on that family of candles that you can see that has posted the resistant area. Okay, and you could go back again. Now, once you go back, you could see that again at one point, that was back in uh, last year in November, let's say, prices has fallen quite a bit actually. If you follow that through, it has actually fallen quite a bit, and it started there as well. That was bang on the area that we have just drawn as our resistance zone. So let's just go back again to the left, as much as you can, and that same area has posted some support as well. Okay, and you've got long candles or candle piercing through that zone as well, and that's a good sign. You've got resistance, you've got long candles piercing through, you've got some support as well. That actually means that that zone that you have drawn as your support resistance zone is quite a strong one, because it took long candles and very long powerful candles, whether it is bullish or bearish candles, to actually pierce through that particular zone. So that is why you need to always look to the left and look at why prices is at that stage still pausing. Nothing is happening as yet. But then if prices are going up, when could it come down? It could come down based on where it went down before in the past. So that is why it is contemplating there. So it could come down there, but once it has actually gone through that zone, so that zone is made between 1.0732 and 1.0739. So you need prices to push through, pierce through with a longish candle through that zone there and point upwards towards that area. Okay, towards this area here. So at this stage, it may actually be looking like it's got lots of resistance there. So the reason for that, look left, you got resistance coming through. I mean, went through in the past. Okay, you got resistance there, you got resistance there, and it's all very, very close to this zone right here. So it needs to be pushed upwards to mirror the other support zone in the past as well, to be able to come through there. So now, if you ask me, it's really a risky area. It is showing resistance already, but we are looking at a potential to reach that zone. So will it do that or not? It's probably best for us to wait and see until it pierces through and go upwards, and look at the strength of that trend at that moment of time once it pierced through. So that's your Euro USD. So let's get back to basics now, and let's look into 1 hour chart. Look at what's going on with the euro. Euro, as I've mentioned, is one of the three currencies that are posted as strong currencies, okay, at this moment of time. So we need more confirmation. On the 1 hour chart, very strong, more or less, showing lots of bullishness because it's way above all three lines, as well. As we go into the 4 hour chart, we see that bullishness still dominating right there. As we go into the daily chart, we can see that things are starting to be a little bit uncertain, not above, but in between the lines. So here we can safely say that there may be a potential resistant area in this zone here that we have actually drawn as well. Between the 0787 areas, 0739 or 0740 area, there may be a resistance very soon. Once it goes through that, it may actually go through that. It's got a lot of the trend itself shown by the candle is quite strong, so that gives us a bit of a potential for it to go upwards, but that upward move might be limited because we've got the 200 moving average, as you can see, as a potential resistance as well. Okay, and that 200 moving average right there, if you look to your left, it mirrors some resistance here, it mirrors the resistance there. So again, it may be short-lived, that upward move, and find some resistance. This is on the daily chart. So if the daily chart is signaling downward, then you are looking at, on the shorter term, some more, maybe a little bit more bullish momentum. Okay, so bullish and the short term, short to medium, but the long term bearish for the Euro USD. So here itself, as you go on to shorter time frame, you can see that it's still waiting on whether or not to pierce through that zone that we have just seen. So if it does, then you've got a little bit more of buying, but then overall you've got more for the Euro USD as well. So this does actually mean that we are looking into some appreciative or bullishness of the dollar. So let's look into the dollar versus the JPY. Okay, now I've got $2 right here. One is sort of a failed like pattern for the USD JPY because we traded three patterns, three ABCDs to the upside. The first one is a huge one right here, based on the blue drawings of the pattern itself. Then you've got the yellow one that has already hit its target pattern. Okay, so but then when we drew it further to go further, then it failed. It sort of failed. Now that should actually hit your stop loss level, but measured stop loss at 67% of the A to B move. So that has already hit the 67%. So that's it. You should be looking at that as your triggered stop loss. Okay, but at least you've got your stop loss there. All right. Now here, when I look into the price now, it's at 113.24. Okay, so hence the reason I would like to show you as well what may be going on based on the Z-like pattern of the USD JPY based on the 4-hour chart. The 4-hour chart itself shows a move like this, and A it's here, B here, C here, D. What I'm trying to say is that the Z-like pattern usually signals a potential move to the upside. Okay, this is a bullish type Z-like pattern. So once it ends at the D area, and this D area is usually about 50% of the B2C. So if I pull my B2C right up there, the 50% has actually been, I mean, it was further up right there. Okay, so you've got a choice of two lines right there that gives you a sort of zone of a reversal. Now within that area right there, we have got some support, some resistance, and various others. Okay, so here itself, if it does not actually bounce upwards and go above 113.50 and above, or 113.60 and above, that means you are looking at more bearishness of the USD versus the yen. Okay, because at this moment of time, yen is still showing bearishness. Okay, and because of that, you might see recovery of USD, but at this moment of time, for this particular pair, USD versus the JPY, it is not showing that. It's showing bearishness, it's showing resistance found here, and it's not giving us a confidence that it might actually just bounce up for now. Not yet. So you need to actually wait. At this moment of time, you've got 113.23. 113.23 or 22, it's really close to the 113.20 area. So as soon as the 113. As soon as you see prices reaching the 113.10, then you know that there's more dominance of the bears. That means they are really putting the prices down. That also means that this Z pattern might actually fail, and you might see more ABCD to the downside, and you're looking for patterns that will give you the downside move for the USD JPY. So now back to basics again, meaning in terms of trend. Looking into the USD JPY, you can see that you've got lots of dominance of the bears or bearishness of the USD against the JPY, because they're all under all three lines. As you go into the 4-hour chart, you could see that it's got that support, I mean not support, it's got that flow of bearishness and sellers really wanting to pull the prices down for the dollar. Okay, and then as you go onto the daily chart, you could see that a little bit unsure, there may be a potential support there, but this is based on the daily chart though, so that's on the long term. But what if you go onto the weekly chart and the monthly chart? You can see that it is still supporting an upward like move. Now I would like to remind you on what I could see on the weekly chart. Okay, now as I zoom out, I think I shared this a couple of times, but I would like to just remind you again that we've got lots of signs of a potential big movement within 3 to 6 months time, let's say, of the USD shooting upwards. The reason why I say that is because it's not a certainty, but it's a probability. The reason is there's a probability of a cup and handle pattern right there. Okay, cup and handle pattern. Now this handle part, I've got the mouth of the cup. Okay, right there, let's say, okay? And I've got the mouth of the cup and the base of the cup. Now, this is a handle building up. The handle usually build up by coming downwards, and then it would then reverse up and go towards the mouth of the cup, okay? Like that, and come back down and find support, and then it would shoot upwards, okay? That upward momentum push to the upside would then equal the opportunity that you have seen from the top in terms of number of pips, okay, from the top area right here right to the one below there. But this we are talking about 3 months and above, even up to about 8 months or close to a year even. It all depends on how the market plays out. But here, even though you're looking at up and down movement of the lower time frame, you're still looking at that pattern forming to the upside. But as soon as you see prices able to cross above the mouth area, let me just mark that mouth area for you to give you a bit of an idea where that area would roughly be. It would be at the 12400 area. We are just at the 113, so you see how much move it needs to still make. But if it does actually reach that area and started to break out above 12400, then you've got a better probability of the success of this bullish cup and handle pattern. Okay, so this is from a weekly perspective. So we want to see the big picture, want to look at a potential probability of something happening from the longest term that we can. And then we go into lower time frame to look at whether or not each little pattern would support that movement upwards. At this moment of time, that upward movement is actually taking place very nicely. I've monitored this pattern here once it has actually just dropped here at this point. So you see how much movement it has actually gone. So that was far back, many months ago as well, that we have seen all this movement. So looking at this patiently, having this as your possible map may give you a direction in the longest term, but you want to ride the trend at that moment of time, but then you want to also have a close eye on what may be happening. So in case, let's say for example, you have got a big move down like that suddenly, okay, and you've got loads of move coming downwards and coming out of that handle area, then you know that something is actually happening to sort of ruin that cup and handle pattern, so that may not happen. But at this stage, I've not seen any sort of movement that is actually trying to destroy that pattern or anything like that. Everything is actually going through to make out that pattern quite well. So there still is a big probability of that happening, but it takes time because we're looking at the weekly chart. Okay, so that's just a bit of an insider's look from a patterns perspective. And if you look into banks as well, I mean, we are not looking into long-term. I mean, with banks and huge hedge funds, I've seen through some of the people that I know that they're also signaling loads of buying and not really selling off of the dollar. We as retail traders, we're looking at lots of selling off, a lot of dropping of price and all that. But for a long term, what the big boys are doing is where it would then make out that trend in the long run. Okay, but of course that trend in the long run wouldn't make prices move in a straight line. You will have the up and downs, the volatility and everything else, corrections and everything else, but the destination is where we want to look at. So the destination is up there somewhere, further up probably, because of the what do you call that length there. Okay, we've been monitoring and we're looking at still there's possibly a probability for that, and it's still above all the three lines as well. It's finding lots of support there as well. So this is the reason why I feel that can still happen, but again, it does take time because we're looking at the weekly chart. Okay, so let's just go on to a shorter time frame as well, so we can get a bit of an idea what's going on. Let's look into let's say from the 15 minutes chart, and let's build it like bricks for a house. Okay, we start on a shorter time frame, little bricks, to see whether or not it complies with what we see in the longer term. So here, for example, if you've got on the at the largest time frames, let's say you're seeing upward momentum. So that can only mean that you're looking at corrections at the lower time frames, okay, up and downs, but mostly on the downside and then building up. So here it does actually mirror that in the 5-minute chart. You've got a downside here. Is it building up slowly or not? Let's go on to the 15-minute chart. Now here again it's on the downside, but as we go on, we can see that it found resistance, it's on the downside, okay? And the 30 minutes, let's look into that. It is still to the downside as well. And if we go into the 1-hour chart, you can see that you've got a lot of thinking area right here. It's going sideways at this moment. Is it finding support at this zone right here or not? Okay, so this one here, we need to draw that lowest body, they're all in the same area as well. Then you've got the longest tail right there. Okay, let's take that one away and take that one away. And you can see that you've got this area here. Now let's look at how that zone looks like. Okay, from a 4-hour perspective. As you can see, you've got support, 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 support. You've got lots of support there as well. Support, okay. Some resistance right there, but you've got support, support, push, okay, of prices. So let's look at it again from a bigger perspective on the daily chart. Okay, as you can see, you've got that area concentrated a lot. It's quite free fall in some way in terms of prices going upwards right there. For example, if it does go upwards, you know, you don't have major resistance until that area, but if it does go downwards, you've got quite a number of support areas as well, challenges, okay, to the downside. So let's see what would actually happen there as time goes by, and you could then have an idea of how much. Now here again on the 4-hour chart, this is what I see, and I see that it finds that support really powerfully right there. Okay, so would it actually then go upwards? You would need to look into price action and wait till prices go above the 20 side number 113.20 and above. So we need to look and see prices reaching the 113.30 areas and above. Okay, so that's it for the USD JPY. Let's move on into the other pairs. Now, what's going on with the GBP USD? We've looked into it just now, and as you can see, it is still happening to the downside. Okay, we are looking at trading area at 1.2340 to enter for the sell side of things, and to take profit at the 2260 area. Okay, so that's quite a significant amount of pips that you could actually be looking at. We need to then confirm on the fundamental side of it. You need to monitor a little bit on the news side of things. Anything can come through, but if that news that you watch or things that you see online, whether it comes from the political, economical, or geopolitics side of things, it does actually favor the downside bias of the GBP, then you are looking into the right direction, or the higher the possibility of reaching that area here, because then it would you know, go into confirming that nice pattern for you, which is a Z-like pattern. You can easily draw that line right there as well. Okay, that channel line give you a bit of a guidance, so that would make out a very nice geometric type shape as well when you focus on to drawing that channel, and that would then give you a guideline as to where it can, because your price could go sideways like that and come downwards, so at least you could see that that line would guide you through into a proper target before reaching that actual target of 2260. You can see that as your channel or trend line as well. Okay, so again, you can draw your ABCD. Once it comes downwards and correct itself, you can draw an ABCD to the downside as well and see whether it matches with whatever that you're looking at. Okay, in terms of your target price. So USD CHF right here. I know there were some disappointed traders as well, but I guess you know, it's part of the game where you would need to expect losses, but measured losses, as long as you've got your stop loss in place, which is 67% of the A, B, CD move, 67% of the A to B move. Okay, so that would then give you a bit of an idea of where your stop loss should actually be, and you can always adjust that based on psychological numbers as well. So here, for example, with the USD versus the CHF is still in ranks of the highest, most bullish currency at this moment of time as of today. Okay, so second to that is only the USD. So you've got two currencies on the bullish side of it. Now, if I've got two currencies on the bullish side of it, I wouldn't choose this USD CHF pair, because I would rather pair up one that is strengthening and one that is weakening, as opposed to both in the same direction. Okay, because that will then cause you a bit of a complication, maybe not very clear, maybe suddenly you've got the sideways market coming in and then causing that pair to consolidate and things like that. So we wouldn't want that. So here, for example, as prices came downwards and found the resistance at this 50 moving average itself, that was a probable or possible ABCD pattern right there. Okay, so that could have been one of your sell side opportunity at that moment of time, but you probably would be targeting that area right there as your take profit area, and then as you go on from B to C right there and combine A right down to D, your trading area could have been entering below that centroid area at 1.0082. So that marks the psychological number of 80. So you want to enter at 10070 and below, okay, to make sure that you're under the you're trading under the centroid area, and your take profit area would easily be at this area right here at 9996 basically. If it's above the 00 would probably be better, because your 9,996 right there. So you've got 1.00. So 1.0010 would actually be your ideal take profit area. Okay, so that was quite a significant area as well to, it was quite a nice one to have taken following the downward sort of momentum. So you want to always look at how C has actually played as well. Okay, so this is for your USD CHF. Now, as we go on to the AUD USD, played very nicely with the ABCD, as you can see in red previously. Then it found quite on the dot the support right upwards as well. But here, for example, we may see now AUD, for example, is still classified as the first weakest one for today. Okay, so you've got a AUD really weak. Now USD could be classified as stronger, much stronger than the AUD. Okay, so AUD, you're looking at the potential downside sort of move. Now with that, I look at this at a glance, and there may be a potential, let's say, ABCD type move coming downwards, let's say, or it's probably best for us to first go back to basics, as we usually should do, is to look into the trend side of it. Now here, very high, I would say it has moved quite high upwards, and it was pushed up by lots of fundamentals, and also because of the USD weakness yesterday as well, and that now has found sort of a resistant area here. Now why has it actually chose resistant area there? As you look back, you can see that you've got, let's go on to one time frame up, you can see that there is your area of resistance there. You see how prices actually fall from there. You got some more resistance in all these areas here. So this might then give us a bit of an idea that it has found its resistant area or zone, and it may be reversing. Now this is a maybe at this stage, and then your daily chart right here, as we go on and look into this area here, you could see that that cluster of candle could easily draw out a very nice resistant area for you, the highest candle, let's say, and the highest wick. Now as you look left, you could see it's exactly at that point that it actually fell. So now you've got a resistance zone right there, okay, here. Right, so 75, that was entered previously, so we're aiming at take profit 74.50. Has it actually happened? Let's say it's at 76 at this moment. 75.90 is your selling area. You're taking profit at 74.50. This was previously shared, I guess, with them. It hasn't actually really reached that area yet, but now it's becoming a little bit more possible to find the resistance. As you zoom out a little bit, you could see that that area is such a a strong resistance zone. Okay, so let me just mark that a little bit. So here, from this moment onwards, I think it's a better selling zone from under the 77.20 area and below. If you could actually wait a little bit until it goes under the 77.00 under, which is 7690 and below, then as you can see now, it is exactly at the 7690 and below. Now it's at 7685. So this is giving us more chance to look at the fall of the AUD versus the dollar. We're looking at the daily chart right away now, but as we go on to the 15-minute chart, let's say, do you actually look into that potential right there? This one here is a little bit risky because if you've got your A, you've got your B, your C didn't really find resistance at either one of these lines, and if it does come down, it'll enter the uncertain area right here, which is not an ideal sort of strategy. Okay, of course you've got resistance. It is actually pulling price down. The probability of it to come down now is quite high, but it's just got some level of risk as it enters these three lines right here. Okay, so as we go on, you could see that this one here is like it's got a nice free fall here as well. As we pull this one here, you could see that it has touched or close to touching the 161 area right there. Okay, so this one here might potentially, okay, be a Z-like pattern right there. Okay, as you take that one there, and as you bring this one forward right there, and bring this one here. So now we're looking at a C to D downward type move, and as you can see, it is showing lots of dominance of the bulls, of the bear heads, of the sellers at this moment of time. Okay, targeting here maybe, but this may be a very low price, so we want to look into the 50% at least. Okay, and let's see where 50% is. That is close to this area right there. Okay, so there you go. Okay, there you go. So we've got, let me just do that once again because I may have deleted that accidentally. There you go. Price is upward. So based on the daily chart, you may see more chances, opportunities of price falling AUD versus the dollar as dollars rise in terms of its value, in terms of its prices, sorry, not value, but prices, and you're looking into the fall of AUD versus the dollar. So this is your first area that you might find support, but as you go into the 4-hour chart, look at this area here. Did it previously found support in this area? Yes, it did, and brought prices right up there, and as we go on more, you've got more support there as well. So okay, that would actually be an area to look out for as well. So at this moment of time, you're looking at bearishness of the AUD versus the dollar. Okay, so what is going on with the with gold at this moment of time? Now, as you can see, we're looking at the W pattern has actually completed there at D, and then you're looking at more chances for a fall here. Okay, so this does actually depend on the strength of the dollar. So if strength of the dollar is seen to be picking up, then you're looking at more resistance and more fall of the gold as well. So here we want to always apply the 3 moving averages as well, and would then give you a clearer picture of the trend side of things. So you see, as I apply the 200 moving average, it's finding the resistance right on the dot of the 200 moving average, which does then hint you that there is a possibility of a fall of the gold prices, which does coincide with what we expect for the dollar value to go up. Okay, so don't get too excited in buying gold at this moment of time, because we just got this signal here giving you a trade idea of a bearish sentiment as opposed to a bullish sentiment for gold. Okay, so let's just complete two other moving averages right there. You've got your 100 right there, and now we will apply the 50 moving average right there. It's got 50 right there, and apply it to be lightest in color, and there you go. So as you can see, it's gone into the uncertain territory, and it's finding resistance now for gold, okay, on the daily chart, right on the dot of that that 200 moving average. So what I'm saying is that if it does then come downwards, find that resistance and becomes weaker and weaker in terms of the price of gold, then you would see a potential, actually a very nice potential of an ABCD coming downwards like that. Okay, so that AB equals CD, and you need to look at where your C is and look at Fibonacci so you can get a better zone of your D point right there. So at this stage, too early. I would like prices to come down further and come under the 3 lines. Then we could see more potential to the downside, to this downside. Now, if it does do that, then you are looking at, if it does come downwards to the D point here, then it would complete an M-like pattern, which then signals a reversal only later on here. Okay, so that is how it looks like at this moment of time based on the daily chart. So let's now look into shorter time frame for gold. Okay, and then we can get a better idea of what's really going on with the gold. Okay, this is the bigger picture again. So you got that root map on a bigger picture, a bigger scale, and we want to look at the lower time frame to look into whether that would then make it possible for the big picture to happen. Okay, so if we go on to the 30-minute chart, for example, you can see that the strength of the bears or the sellers is just picking up quite well right there. Okay, it's at 12.27, 27, very close to the 20 area. Then you've got all this area, this little cents right here, 0.71, also under the 80 area already, and you've got that longish candle right there signaling more fall of the gold. This is on the 30-minute chart. As we go on to the 1-hour chart, you could see the same. You can see that it's got all this fall all the way down. It found some correction, but as you zoom in, you could see that strength of the sellers have actually built up much more. Okay, so this is the same that you could actually see in most of the other time frame as well. Now, when we look into the 4-hour time frame for gold, we could see that prices did try to go upward, but then it left that candle with a skeleton. What does that mean is that you've got the longer the wick to the upside, the weaker the upside is. Okay, so that means it couldn't actually fill up that skeleton. It got weaker and it got skinny. The movement to the upside got skinny and skinny, and that's what it means when you see a longer wick to the upside. Okay, that could also be classified as a rejection candle. Once that means rejecting the movement to the upside. So once you find the next candle to the downside and it opens lower than this anywhere the closing price is of the bullish candle, then you're seeing more possibility to the downside. Okay, so at this stage, you want to be quite wary and careful if you're trading to the upside, because it looks like the momentum to the downside is building up for gold. Okay, so that's your gold side of things. Now, let's look at what's happening with the GBP AUD. I know that some of you guys would like to look into the Euro GBP, if I'm not mistaken. We will look into the Euro GBP as well. So let me just pull that one out up first on the Euro GBP. Let's look at what's going on there. But GBP AUD as well. Let's just do that. Now here, as you can see, the GBP, as you know, the AUD is classified as the weak one, and then the GBP is also the second weak one. So this is why we're finding both pairs looking at the same direction to the downside. So that is where you might find, you know, that sideways type momentum. It's not that they are not sure, it's more like they're finding balance, because you've got both to the same direction. Okay, so this does not then favor you as the trader, because it's not giving you that direct pull or movement to the downside, you see. So that's why you're looking at how prices is actually moving just like that. Okay, it's not moving in a very nice angle down, but it's moving in a sort of a 3 o'clock, between 3 to 4 kind of movement. So that is showing that balance in price, because you've got that balance in direction, meaning both currencies are battling out that same direction. It is as though you have two people trying to go through the same door. Okay, and that two people, it depends on who's bigger, who's smaller. But if both is almost the same size and it takes up that size of that door, then you might find it a bit of a struggle. So this is what's going on at this moment of time, because you find GBP and AUD same direction. So they are both going through the window of the market almost at the same time. So this is why you find that up and down, up and down, up and down. You can see that almost the same amount of candle going up, almost the same amount of candle coming down, and then you see almost the same size of candle going up, almost the same size of candle coming down as well. So this is what I call a bit of a balance in price, but both battling the same direction at that same time. Okay, so that's the reason why you would need always at the very first instance to look at least three strongest currency, three weakest currency. You can do that from barchart.com, heatmap, or the livecharts.uk, or the actionforex.com to find out much more with what tools to use in order to pick and choose, firstly, the trend, to determine the trend, and to know, the best combination of pairs to trade for the day. Okay, and then to look into what the investors are looking at. Now, at this moment of time, we are looking at quite a participation of investors in Euro GBP, in AUD USD, and of course with the majors. Basically, you still have got lots of interest with the GBP USD, so that may be politically connected as well, because of now it's not only the Article 50 with regard to Brexit. We've also got now a proposition or a request or an order of the second referendum by the Scottish as well. So this is just pulling down, increasing the uncertainty, political uncertainty, so that is actually increasing the probability of more fall of the pound. Okay, so yes, we can see more fall, but sometimes it doesn't actually happen whereby you see that GBP is falling, so GBP across all pairs are falling. It doesn't work that way. Okay, that is what we've seen yesterday, when we have seen that the NZD-JPY was good to trade because it's one of the pairs that was favored by the investor. But what moved the most was NZD-USD. You see, so that's why one pair, the direction may be the same, but one pair may move much faster, and the other one may move the same, but maybe at a later stage. Okay, that's what we're looking at with GBP AUD at this moment of time. So if you compare GBP USD, you see that movement much more drastic. It's doing quite well. Okay, here. So this is what we are looking at now, falling with a quite, sort of a stronger type candle. But when we go on to the GBP AUD, you just see that balance at this moment of time. Okay, so let's go on to the Euro GBP a little bit and look at what's going on here. So here we have got this big fall, and it's under all three lines. That's on the 5 minutes chart only. Let's go on to a more neutral type time frame. As you can see, we have got quite a number of a lot of movement to the downside, strong candles, because we've got all this movement to the downside, so that the sellers got interested again. But as we see, the C point not really very nice. So let's just look at it at a bigger perspective. Okay, so when you look into a bigger perspective like this, there may be a chance at a glance of that's the wrong color right there, of an A to B, B to C, and then an expected fall down. This is an A, B, C, D of a Z-like pattern, but this is a bullish Z-like pattern, which actually means that if it does actually make its way down here towards D, then you look at potential upward move. We are looking at the 1 hour chart at this moment of time. So let's just polish up the criteria, the setup of this particular Z-like pattern here. So if I go on to pulling here all the way down, A to B, let's look at where has the potential C point have actually landed right on the dot at 200%, which is a very good sign. So I'll take that A to B, and I'll take it right from the top, and I mark that AB equals CD as such. Okay, and I take that away. Now we're looking at Euro GBP 1 hour chart. Okay, so as I bring this one from the very bottom all the way to the top, and I mark my A to B right there, and now I take my A to B and I move right there. Okay, as you can see, it's right on the dot of the 50% as well. Okay, so if I'm not sure whether that's the 50% as yet, because I haven't pulled my 50 my Fibonacci. As I pull my 50%, I see my 50% just lands exactly on the dot as my AB equals CD. So that's a good sign. Okay, that's a very good sign. So that is a good sign to expect more fall of the euro versus the pound to the downside here. But again, price action is number one. It is definitely under all three lines at this stage, at this moment of time. Looking at the price is at 86.80. So what happens next is we need to be very sensitive with the psychological level, because it is close to 0.8680. Okay, so you need it to be going towards 86.70 onwards to be an ideal area for a sell. Okay, now not just yet, it's very close, but not just yet. So we adjust that yellow horizontal line to mark the area of 86.70 right there. Okay, as we go that way, you could see there, and 86.70 right there, and then 85.95. Let's say 85.90 or so would still be good, but if you want to be conservative, let's make it at 86.10, 86.00. So 86.10, we will mark to 86.10. Okay, right there. Okay, as your potential take profit area. So you've got 86.10. Now you've got that window of opportunity, window of trading from the 86.70 selling area right down to a take profit area of 86.10, let's say. So as we pull that, 86.86, okay, so it's about 50 pips, yeah, sorry, 60 pips or so. So that's ideal, but that's because you've joined the game a little bit late, probably. You've got an A, B, C, D here that you could have taken that earlier as well when you find the centroid, but now you have caught the price here, so that's your opportunity now here to the downside. Okay, so hence the reason we want to wait for prices to first, it has gone under all three lines, which is a very good sign, but then we want it to then go under the 86.80 area, like 86.70, to give us more momentum to the downside. Okay, so that's for the Euro GBP. Now let's see whether we've covered a few others just to make sure. I would like to look into the AUD USD as well. So AUD USD, what's going on with the GBP JPY as well? As I've actually mentioned, the GBP and JPY, they're both on the downside. So again, it would then give you the idea of two people trying to get through this the same door. This is the same scenario as the pair that we've looked at earlier on. Okay, so the GBP AUD, if I'm not mistaken. So there you go. You've got a little bit of a balance sort of prices and not giving you that whole picture whether it wants to go down further or go up further. Okay, so this is what's going on with the GBP JPY. I wouldn't call the GBP JPY as not a good pair to trade today. It is, but then it depends on a time frame. Your time frame with the 4-hour wouldn't be as clear as the other time frames, I would guess, because it's just entering the uncertain mode. I think I've got some question. Yes, Sasi, you are looking into NZD-CHF. Let's look into NZD-CHF real quick. Let's look into NZD. Did you say NZD-CHF? Yeah, Sashi, just to make sure, so I don't make a mistake. NZD-CHF. Okay. NZD-JPY, NZD-CHF. Okay. NZD-CHF, that is. Let's just look into it. Can't remember how I did that the last time. We did actually, okay, let's just show all right there. Perhaps it's better. NZD-CHF. Okay. Oops. Give me a second. Let's just look into that again. New chart. Okay. NZD, JPY, NZD. That's quite a exotic one. So NZD, NZD NZD USD. I don't see it here again. I think I did actually pull it up the last time, but again, I could not find it. Let me just pull that one up. If you're looking into another pair that correlates with it, you might be able to see the exact, not the exact, but very close pattern to it as well. So let me just look into whether I can see it or not. If you guys can spot it, let me know, but I don't actually see it here. That's NZD, CHF, NZD, and I don't see it here as well, even after clicking the show all. Let's just do that one more time. I know we have seen that last week, I think, if I'm not mistaken, definitely. GBP, NZD, no. That was one of the pair that we were trying to look at, and then we finally did. NZD, CHF. Okay, no, it's just not here on this one. CHF, JPY, we do have. NZD, CHF, I don't actually see it as available as one of the pairs in here. It's a tradable pair. It's in here, but I just don't see that appearing on my platform here. It may actually well appear on yours. Let's just check it out again. I'm just going to try one more time here, okay? I do apologize for that, Sashi. I'm not sure where. It's just my current platform at this moment of time. So you may be able to find it on your platform, your Blackboard Trader platform. NZD. Let's try that again. All the way down, and CHF, NZD, JPY, not NZD, JPY. I'm sorry, I don't see it here. NZD, again, nothing there, nothing at the top, nothing here, nothing there. Okay. I'm not sure why it does that sometime, and then I managed to see it pop by after that. Not sure. So, okay. I'm sorry about that, Sashi. I'm not able to look into that one. The CHF JPY, I could see that there, but I'm not able to see the NZD CHF this moment of time. Okay, sorry about that, Sashi. It is more my platform here, actually. I think you'll be able to see that definitely, but I'm not able, because I send that I send that what do you call that, the trade idea as well via Telegram, and it was available, and I'm not sure why I'm not able to see it. I thought I'd gone blind, but I know that I've gone through it a couple of times and not able to see it, so it's all right. Okay, sorry about that. I am able to send that on a later stage, I guess, when I check it on my other desktop and find it on a different account, I guess, at this moment of time. So I think I've chosen sort of the wrong type account here, so that would give me that limit on that particular pair, I think. I'm not sure. So I'll check that one out. Sorry about that, okay? Okay, there you go. All right, let's see. Okay, brilliant. Now that's basically it. If you guys have got no more questions, I would like to wrap this one up. I think we have gone through quite a number of pairs here as well, and you probably would see quite a number of trade ideas there. Shared with you a couple of trade ideas right there. Especially you can see your GBP USD doing quite well at this moment of time, but a bit of correction right there. It's reached the that level there, 23, again at 35 areas. It's gone down quite a bit, so we want the 2340 area below. It's already kicked under the 40 at some point, so some of the downside trade would have kicked off if it was a pending order, so that would be one bit. Now this is a Z-like pattern, as I've mentioned, so it's looking quite good so far. It's showing a lot of momentum right there, but again, GBP is classified as the weaker one. So hopefully that we can see that, and USD is showing some bullishness. So let's look at how things would progress from there on. Okay, a few pairs basically. So it's the same there, as you can see, correlated to the USD as well. Okay, a Z-like pattern looks almost the same too. Okay. Yeah, I think that's basically it. On the daily chart, if those of you, just in case, if you guys are looking into silver, you've got a bit of a, how you call that, DZ-like pattern there. So, but usually it mirrors what goes on with the gold. Okay, so XAU, this is XAU, XAG, I don't have it right there. Okay, let's see whether we've got some more pairs that we want to look at. EJ for Mr. Kunan. Okay, let's look into EJ at this moment of time. Let me replace one of it right there. This is Euro GBP, GBP JPY. Okay, let's hope we can find that pair. Definitely is there. Okay, there you go. So Euro JPY. Okay, let's look into some of my notes right here. Now Euro JPY, I have sent you guys some of the on the Telegram itself. It gives you an idea of Euro as well as JPY from the UBS strategist. Okay, we've got some pairs there that are, if I get them from the banks, I would share that with you guys. So it's usually posted on the Telegram group. Now here on the Euro JPY, let's say on the 4-hour chart that we're looking at right now, at a glance, we have got a very nice Z-like pattern, probably like that. Okay, so it's expected to go down a little bit more to mirror the length of A to B. So I've got my A here, B here, C here, D. So this is what we can see this moment of time on the 4-hour chart. Okay, so as I clear that away, let's look into shorter time frame. Okay, as you can see, that's playing quite well as well as a Z-like pattern there. If I pull this one up all the way up, I can see that the probable area that it could actually arrive at the 12050s area as is marked here. Okay, so as I take that away, we can see that you've got ABCDs here as well, but again, it's trading in the 1-hour chart in the area of uncertainty. You need prices to go under, okay, under the 200 moving average. It's in between all these lines. This zone here is a zone of confusion. It needs to come under that area right there. Okay, so here, for example, as I draw this area right there where the 200 is, it needs to come under the 50s area. So it needs to reach the 121.40 area to find more room to the downside. Okay, if at all it goes above the 80 area, only then it will give you more room to the upside. But at this moment, it's more to the upside. There may be a possibility, but you are combining your euro with a JPY. So JPY is looking like it's to the downside. So the more yen is falling, the more possibility you're looking at upward type move. So again, it's too early to tell. I would look at the price at 121.80, so above 80. Now it is actually above 50 at this moment of time, but you need prices to go above all three lines to find more power to the upside. Okay, on the 1-hour chart, yes, you've got bullishness this moment of time, but again, some correction first, okay, to the downside a little bit more, and then upward move. This is on the daily chart. For the shortest time frame, as you can see now, it's got moved to the upside, and the upside move is picking up at this moment of time. So like I've mentioned, 121.67, yes, it's above 50. You need it to go above the 80 to give you more room to the upside. Okay, for the 15-minute chart. So again, as it moves upwards, if you look into the 15 minutes chart, you could see that the challenge is that 200 moving average right there. And 200 moving average is marked at the 121.75. So that's why I say the 121.80 area is a challenge for you. It's sort of a resistant area. So yes, it's going up now, but look into the 121.80 area only if it goes above 121.80 and above, like 121.90 or even 122.10 and above, then you've got more room to the upside, because you've got the area of resistance here, area of resistance here. You need to cross above to give you more momentum. If it does cross this area and gone above, then you've got quite a clear area of upward move above this area. So you need to be 12210 and above, then you've got a better chance. You see this area here and this area here is the main resistance area. As you go on the 1-hour chart, you pull it, or the 4-hour, you can see that major resistance right there as it marks there. Okay, so once it crosses there, you've got a clear through area to go upwards for the Euro JPY. Okay, hope that is clear for you guys. All right, I think that's basically it, and that's all I have for you guys. I would like to wrap it up here, and see you again next Monday. I'll be here until Wednesday, so I guess my Thursday webinar, I will do it from Malaysia if I'm not mistaken, but my Monday webinar will be still on as usual. My Thursday webinar will be from Singapore itself. I'll be landing in Singapore, so I'll be reporting live on the trade ideas from Singapore then on Thursday. So Monday we'll see if there's any changes in terms of timing or sort of like that. I'll be letting you guys know from Monday or Tuesday onwards before Thursday, of course. Okay. All right. There you go. Okay, brilliant. Thank you guys. Thank you for your time too, Sasi and the rest of you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you guys bagged some pips as well. And happy pipping to all of you. And hope you guys, do well in riding the trend and hitting the D point of most of the patterns. Okay. All right. Thank you very much once again. Wish you guys a very good evening and a good night to you guys too. Okay. Bye bye. Thank you.